I bring the City of Yamhill City Council meeting to order on Wednesday, December 11th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. May I get a roll call, please? Kent here.
Esky here.
Morgan here.
Potter here. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to open the floor for public comment. Yamhill encourages all citizens to comment on any city business. This is not a dialogue platform. This is comments and information and recommendations or suggestions. Shall be limited to 3 minutes. And if you request a special accommodation, you can add additional time, but that's got to be done before the meeting. So is there anybody at this time for a public comment? Yes, please. We don't have our podium, but please stand and.
Patty Perrin, 215 North Oakland Street. So I'm going to ask these questions. I know you all are not going to answer them, but I would love to get an answer somewhere at least down the line, hopefully not too far off. I don't know how many people are aware that AJ's been off work for over a month. My understanding is that it's paid administrative leave. And because we're taxpayers paying his salary, it'd be nice to know. And I'm not quite sure, I know you can't say specifically why he's off, but it would be nice to know that he is not currently working, a ballpark on time that he'll be back, because I know Travis is picking up a whole lot more time than what he was. And I've seen Officer Livingston out also. So that's my first thing. The second thing is, my understanding is there was a meeting with ODOT in regards to the intersection of 240 and 47. And I was surprised to not hear or see some kind of an outcome to that meeting on the agenda. Because, you know, Mayor, when they were having the bypass for Carlton, wanting to put in a stoplight or stop sign or whatever, that would be horrendous if either of those happened at that intersection. Anyway, so then my third thing is, when Chief Graven was standing in for the administration position, he was given a salary increase of about $15,000, and that has still remained on his salary. And I'm going to give you an example of what I see and what other people see, is that it would be like if I was paying for a service in my home and I was paying, you know, $50 a month or whatever, and then all of a sudden I stopped that service, but I continue to have to pay that money for no service. And that's what people are seeing. So the fourth one is Public Works. And this has nothing to do with the city employees as far as their input on it, but out of Public Works funds, they're paying more than 2/3, or excuse me, more than half of the salaries for the people that are in City Hall. And that doesn't include their salaries. And to be exact, 126,425 is coming out of Public Works, and only 62,859 is coming out of the general fund. That money could be huge for Public Works, you know, for them to do things that they need to do. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Is there anybody else for public comment? I can list the names. You want, please go ahead.
Ingrid Denman, I live on 420 East 3rd in front of the park.
My son wanted me to ask about the stop signs on Third Street and the sidewalk that should go alongside the park end of it. Nothing's been done or said. Is there gonna be any stop signs? Because the traffic it hasn't calmed down. They're still busting through. And so we're just concerned we need something done. And he has talked to Shay.
Mhm.
And
We've emailed back and forth, yeah.
yeah, I think he emailed every one of the members on city council, and he only got a reply from Shay. So that's not a very good ballpark, mainly for all the other citizens that live in town. And with some of the comments that Patty made, we all want to know what's going on. I know you might not be able to say, but you know, it doesn't look good, so.
That's the good quickly. It's not question and answer, I understand, but
What's up to you?
just super quick, I'll let you know, because it's not question and answer. But I let your son know that I have been doing a little bit of research on it. I'm waiting for a lot to come back, but you can let him rest assured that I will get back to him as soon as I know.
Okay,
And I'll get back to, how about this? I'll get back to him this week
okay.
and then we can
That
continue.
would be good.
Yep.
And there's one more thing. Why is the button for the bathrooms up in the park for handicapped people not working?
That's the first I've heard of it. Honestly, it's the first I heard.
Yeah.
So we'll look into it. We'll get it
People
fixed.
with
Yeah, no,
a
like
wheelchair
100%,
can't
like,
get in there.
we'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you.
We'll get it done.
Anybody else? Nobody else at this time for public comment? Is there anybody online for public comment? If so, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Not seeing any online, we will go ahead and close public comment. And agenda updates, city recorder, we received those in our agenda, right?
The updated agendas are included here for people that are here that has not been updated online yet. Just a couple of updates. One of the resolutions, resolution 833, the resolution itself was updated. That was sent to council. There's a copy in the packet and a copy there for the public. And then there was an additionally added resolution, resolution 834. That was sent to the council. And you have it there in your folders, and there is a copy there for the public. And then I did usually update the things used for the downtown Christmas tree lighting. There were some that were left out and some that were listed a little bit incorrectly, so I just.
Perfect, thank you. Consent agenda, is there any questions regarding the financial statement to current today? Any questions regarding the financials? Any questions regarding the minutes that were presented? By the way, the new format is very nice. That will show up on our online really nicely. And I like that it's a summarized kind of format, but still has all the detail. It looks good. Thank you very much for your hard work on that. And I'm really grateful that it doesn't take as long in this new
Yes,
format.
me too.
That'll be great. And that you got caught up and got what? 5 minutes done? That's exceptional. Thank you, Angie, for all your hard work on that one.
How, out of curiosity, do you know like how much faster it is on average?
People to do
I'm
5
just
months in a
curious.
month instead of 1 month.
1.5, yeah, usually I do 1.5 in a month if I don't get their appointments on Fridays, but I have to. And I was able to do five in a month.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
But now that you're caught up, we just accept it.
Yeah, usually is.
And this is caught up. There's,
It is cut up. There are some executive sessions that I have to do, just the summary, not summary, but who was there and when the time started, and then I'll be completely caught up with the council.
Awesome, that is excellent. Again, thank you. All right. With that, is there any questions regarding any of the minutes? And if not, may I get a motion?
I move to approve the agenda as written.
Morgan, second.
A vote, please.
Can I?
SKI.
Morgan.
All right.
I'm not used to this seat. I'm usually the last.
I know.
All right, committee reports, planning commission. Here.
Our last meeting, we continued a public hearing on the gas station electronic message. They kind of submitted to us and they said, wait, never mind. So we're gonna take that up. We continue to work through, well, Walt has rewritten Title 11, and we have been working through it the last week. We've had plenty of time for the meeting. And so we'll be plowing through, making sure we, as lay people kind of understand it, is kind of what Walt wants from us, that it makes sense. So that's pretty much our job at the moment.
Excellent. Can you, for just a brief summary of what Title 11 is and for the record?
Yeah, land division, anything to do with partitioning, subdivisions, public planned development units, PDUs, planned developments. That's where in a set area, instead of just a subdivision, you can kind of bend the rules if you do other things really carefully, is a way to put it. So you might have smaller lots, but you have bigger community center, you have a park, you have, great stuff. And it's this planned development. So there's rules for that. Subdivisions, partitioning, you don't make a new lot. What are the rules? How steep can it be? And if it's really steep, then your lot has to be bigger. Those kinds of things.
And the Title 11, that's something that's come down from the governor's office? Is that
No,
correct?
that's our Title 11. It's the city of Yamhill has this ordinance, this title. And we remember we talking about combining 10 and 11 into one. It didn't make sense right now because 10 might be undergoing some changes due to the recommendations of the housing and development grant. So we're leaving that alone. Picking up 11, then maybe in the future they will be merged, but that's the plan we're on. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. Thank you very much. Good to know. And Water Advisory Committee, do we have representative for Water Advisory?
I can,
Well, Kathy actually was gonna have Jason do that in his
Okay,
report, so
Jason.
we've added it to unfinished business. That was specific on McLaren Light.
Okay, so we're gonna move it to unfinished business.
For that portion of it, but did you want to do a summary of anything else from?
yeah, I just wanted to do an update. A couple months ago, Rocky had asked that a summary of, or the things that had been completed by the water committee. So I went back to the start and I did a summary of all the things with the exception of 3 months, because I didn't have those meetings. So I had that, I presented that, everybody got a copy of that. And then the other thing was the phone tree. So sent that to Angie and Shelley, and they kind of altered it a little bit. And so somebody suggested that we add an additional bit of information as far as, other than the phone tree, how can you get the information? And I was going to talk about this in the next meeting. It's technically already there. So I want to go ahead and just get those flyers out to everybody so that people that don't go online, obviously have somebody they can contact to get updates. So that was 2 things that, for me, that were big deals.
No, those are big deals. Thank you, Patty. Somewhere, okay. Anything else for water advisory that we're not gonna do later? Not at this time, okay. Economic Development Committee?
We met, with our last monthly meeting on December 3rd. And we started by just reconvening around our mission statement, because as we're kind of getting this new committee off and running, we wanted to make sure that we always keep that focused. And just to remind everybody, it's to bring economic vitality to the central business district and create a thriving community in which to live, work, and play. So we have the live, work, and play categories, and that's helping us then determine our objectives. And so they all kind of fall under those. And at the meeting, we brainstormed and prioritized the kind of the buckets that fit under there. And some of the main goals that we identified are storefront improvements, partner with local community organizations that are involved in economic development, such as the Yamhill Neighborhood Association, the Yamhill Downtown Association, which I'm on. Support local businesses that are currently existing here. Update being participants in the ideas around updating the zoning codes. Beautification and refreshing kind of the properties, distressed properties or areas in town that deserve some love and that could benefit from some cleanup and beautification. And then the parks. And so those things and under like live, work, and play. So the housing needs analysis that we've been involved in, the placemaking strategies, in the beautification. Under the work, we then kind of identified then where these organizations, Neighborhood Association, Downtown Association, commercial business district code review, and the industrial land, so everything that's happening with our new those grants and the codes and the storefront improvements. And then under the play, the parks plan that's coming together, the events and like walking tour for the Yamhill Downtown Association is behind for the Beverly Cleary historical aspect, the potential ball field improvement out at Jane Heinrichs Park, and then also some collaboration and efforts around Cycle Yamhill County, such as with the new kiosks that are going in. So we have a lot of work in store, but it's nice that we finally have kind of like, okay, we have like our objectives in place. That's the report. Any questions or?
Perfect,
That's great.
thank you. It was nice to hear all those things listed out. That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Things are getting accomplished. I love it. Into unfinished business, IT update.
The next few items are just informational for council, but the IT update, we are continuing to work with the City of Kaiser. They have been a little bit slow. We're in the process of trying to get a intergovernmental agreement from their legal department that we can review and work with our legal department. I was emailed today that we should get something by the end of this week, which is great. However, in the meantime, we are continuing to talk to 2 independent consultants to potentially take the place. One has a little bit more municipal experience, and we're having a meeting on Friday with him. And he's a good potential option if Kaiser for some reason doesn't fall through or falls through. And the other one is a third option, doesn't have as much experience with municipal, so probably not the best fit, but we're still looking into that. So we've got 3 options right now that we're continuing to pursue. My goal is still to try to get something done before the end of this year and start fresh in January, but it will depend on probably lawyers, whether that happens or not. So that's just where we are with that. If we move to the next one. Sorry.
Please, go ahead.
Well, actually, the next one's we had a meeting with the MAC Water and Light, which was a recommendation that came out of the Water Advisory Committee. It was Kathy, myself, and Jason's gonna give an update on basically how that discussion went, where that fits within the grand scheme of our water infrastructure plans.
Yeah, so like Shelley stated, we had a meeting with Mac Water and Light, which went great. I mean, we were, you know, it was a progressive meeting. For us to look at supplemental water. Right now, we're just in the phase of looking at which direction to run. There's a Putty Gulch option, and then there's Highway 47 through Carlton. With that said, best suited, if we could work some IGA out, if we further that conversation with Carlton, with McMinnville, where we can make the connection off of Highway 47 and wheel that water from Carlton. From McMinnville, I think we'd be in a really good position. So we're looking at all of our options right now. As most of you guys know, we already have the letter of intent with City of Hillsborough, but it's kind of a 1A, 1B scenario right now. I can't really report on any kind of engineering aspects with this or even fiscal standpoint of where we're at with them, but I will say that they are more than willing to give us water at a certain price, and it's something to look deeper into. That's what I truly believe. And if things fall in line, the possibility of the connection point with Carlton would be my recommendation to go with. It would tie, like it was stated to me, we're kind of connected at the hip with the school district with Carlton. So if we can get a connection point where all three of us benefit in that party, and Carlton can kind of will us the water, then I think we'll be, progressively looking forward to expand our UGB and growth.
And Carlton's been included in these conversations?
Yeah,
Okay.
And they're supportive.
they're supportive. I mean, it's an idea, it's not on paper yet, but it's definitely ideas that we're trying to stick and make work out for all parties included.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Very good to hear. And for the record, you want to talk about Representative Elmer and her involvement in this as well?
Well, these conversations, I think, just came about because we had been having those all hands meetings with Representative Elmer and with the city of Carlton and Public Works and mayors, and just sort of revisited the idea. And she strongly encouraged us to take another look at McMinnville, because I guess there were previous conversations with McMinnville that maybe didn't go anywhere. And so then the focus had been pretty much all on Hillsborough. But in our Water Advisory Committee and in having these conversations, we've sort of started taking a look at why not have all options on the table to see how many options we can actually look at to bring more water to the city as quick as possible, as inexpensively as possible. All of it's going to be expensive, period. But what's going to be the quickest, what's going to be the most efficient and effective for us. And so in those conversations with her, she encouraged us very strongly to take another look. So we scheduled this meeting. We talked with Water Advisory Committee. They were concurrent. So scheduled this meeting for the three of us to meet with them, and they were very much interested in partnering with us if we're interested in doing that. And so as a result of that, then we had a follow-up conversation with Representative Elmer and yourself and others at another meeting with Carlton, and conversations about, that's kind of where the conversation about tying in with Carlton now came back onto the table again. So it sounds like, I think from conversations with you, that might be the quickest option for us.
Correct.
We don't have costs yet, but Hillsborough is going to take a lot longer. We're still looking at Hillsborough, and for the record, many of you know, we are finally applied officially for the Merkley grant. So that project, that study will be going forward, effective 2025. And so Hillsborough is moving forward. McMinnville and Carlton conversations are beginning or restarting. And then we're still looking at piping from the impound to the plant as another option for increasing water. So all options are on the table. Water Advisory Committee continues to discuss it, and we're just gonna, I think, pursue all options we can. And the one that presents the most effective and quickest route is probably gonna be the first, but that might not necessarily be the last. We might have multiple options because.
I mean, one key component that I didn't hit on with this conversation, is the feeling from a state level is that they're not going to want to invest in small municipality, small ag communities as far as their
Yeah.
infrastructure. So they're looking more at a regional solution, regional source. So we just want to get in and be part of that game where, you know, if we tie into McMinnville, then you're part of the conversation regionally, you know, I think they're just getting, I can't speak for them, but it seems like it's old hat for us to ask for, you know, 200,000 here, 500,000 here for our infrastructure, and we could be part of a regional solution that would, you know, forever for our lifetime have water. So,
And Representative Elmer did say that the state is going into a regional direction and eventually that is the way that this will be. So they are not going to be funding small requests. You're gonna need to be a part of something regional. So we're just getting in early.
and being part of something local within the county is, I feel that's a beneficial as far as having that partnership. So. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. ARPA.
So just to inform the council, the ARPA funds, we need to have essentially spent all ARPA funds by December 31st, 2024, so in a few weeks. It's not enough to just have budgeted for it. We actually have to have spent it or you have to return it. So our accounting clerk has, and I've been working to go through all the files and just confirm that we have in fact spent it. I have an accounting here of that. And so we'll be reporting in our, I think, April Treasury report. We don't have to report it by December 31st, but we do have to spend it by December 31st and it is all spent. So just reporting that to council.
Good.
That we'll be able to show that. I won't need to return any funds.
Yay. That's a good thing.
Here, what's ARPA funds? What's ARPA?
American Rescue, I have to look, hold on. It was the money that they gave during COVID.
Okay,
Yeah.
Does that help?
COVID money.
yeah, no,
American Rescue Recovery,
okay,
something.
thank you.
Yes.
What did it go towards?
Oh, it's quite a list. It's a little convoluted. But essentially, council chambers, AV, utilities, and it was essentially funding for, because revenue was decreased because people weren't working and paying bills, then it helped supplement. So when utility fees weren't coming in, we weren't able to pay
Yeah,
bills. That's what went toward all of it, but we haven't itemized.
SCA, Brent?
Yes, I can't recall. I don't think I've reported this yet. We applied for the small city allotment program for a sidewalk and were not awarded, unfortunately, in this round. However, we were encouraged to apply again because the more you apply, the more likely it is that you are the one selected. They did fund several in our region, up to 250,000, which is what we applied for. But the next round begins applications, I think, March 3rd through April 30th. So we will be applying again and hopefully we'll be selected next time. But we got an answer and we were not selected this time on that.
It's a bummer. How often does this come around?
Well, we applied, I think it's once a year because we applied last year about, well, it was when I was here, so June-ish, and this is opening in March, so possibly twice a year then.
So we submit in March and we find out sometime.
We just found out, we submitted in, it might have been July that we submitted, so maybe it's twice a year then. And we just found out, so 6 months.
Thank you for keep trying. New business.
Did you want to do the lighting ordinance?
Oh, I just crossed it off. I didn't. It's please.
That's actually, I don't have anything for you on that. That's for you guys to revisit, the lighting ordinance if there was additional changes that you. in the packet. So I know, Shay, you had some things that you had brought up. I didn't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think, so just to understand, no decisions will be made today.
Correct. This is just.
It has to be,
It's basically if there's any additional changes you want to send back to planning commission at this time.
so from what I understand of it, and speaking with, well, you and I've spoken to Ken about it as well, that there's some things that we want to make adjustments to, I think, in regards to the street lamps and so forth. uh, the way.
Shields.
The shields. The way that it was explained to me was that we could leave out certain bits of things from that if we wanted to. Is that the way you understand it?
I believe so. You can continue to cross out different things or adjust different things and then send it back to planning commission and then they would have to make the changes and bring it back to council.
Okay,
Yeah.
Or you could just make your changes and approve it with your changes without.
that's what I was,
Oh,
yeah. So,
individually.
Yes.
so my goal would be with that is to have maybe just conversation with planning commission. I don't want to stomp on all of their work, but Ken and I had started to talk about the lighting shields and what that looks like. And we had a little bit of a miscommunication on whether or not it was complaint driven or if all street lamps would have to be changed. Or if there were certain ones that would be better to be changed just for the aesthetic of the town or what have you. The bill to change all of the street lights was $48,000 to put shields on all of them.
For the city.
And that's just certainly not in the budget. But we did want to do the right thing. So I think we still have a little bit from council's end, a little more negotiation to do, but I think we have the time to do it
Okay. Yeah.
between now and the next meeting. So I want everybody to be on the same page. No surprises for anybody when we decide.
So did we have specific questions that were pinned today or was it just you guys were gonna do this on individual? Because I wasn't aware you could actually do it on your own without council. Did you have specific things that, or did you want to just do that offline?
I think that we still have some more things to hammer out.
Okay.
And then we'll discuss those things before we make the determination at the next meeting, or if that's when it is.
The next council meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You guys table this then.
I think we're tabling it,
Yeah.
yes, and when we do discuss it, or the council discusses it, include timelines for getting all of these lamps with
Yes.
shields and extend it out a little bit, giving the city time to spread out that cost. If indeed they approve this to happen, then we want to spread that cost out over a period of time
Oh, yeah.
and not have to come up with all that money at one time to pay for shields and installation,
Or if it's even necessary.
and that too.
Yeah.
That too.
So,
Okay, cool.
Can I comment?
Yes, sir.
So, as far as the shielding cost, I think per light was $140.
so 140, 150 from.
Yeah, 150, let's say, and I drove up Third Street tonight. And I saw the new development, the lights, all the ones I saw are LED, there's maybe 6 little dots up there. The new ones are the same, but they don't hit the houses at all. They just barely hit the sidewalk, they're on the street. That's on the right side of the street. On the left, there's older LEDs that hit some front yards. Now, I was driving by, I went, I don't know what those people think about that light. They might like it. You put a shield on it, they'll say, what'd you do?
Sure.
So I think complaint driven is, you might get 10 phone calls at the most. And now there's the point that people can call up and get their own shield put up.
100%. And a lot of municipalities do that.
Right.
PGE has a program where you literally just call them for $150. They'll come out and shield your street lamp.
The resident pays for it.
The resident pays for it.
The complainant pays
Yeah.
for it.
So you could go that way.
Yeah.
Or you could pay for the 10 complaints and pay for them yourselves. And I think there's some people that might be happy to know that they don't have to have that shining in their bedroom, but I think it would be, like I said, 10 or 12, I've driven around town, and it's really up in the air on a lot of them as to whether they want light in their front yard or not. They might think, gee, I'm not as well protected now. So I just think it's really up to the city whether they want to pay that $150 per citizen or not.
And I think that's where we just to change that verbiage to make sure that if we decide it's gonna be complaint driven and that would be to the PGE customer or the resident to take care of it, I think that should be spelled out, maybe just a little bit more clearly from Walt.
I agree.
In order to just make sure that everybody's understood if and when, because certainly somebody will complain at one point. And then just to have it, all the i's dotted, all the t's crossed,
Clearly defined.
clearly defined and ready to go.
I like
And I
that.
think that we're super close.
You won't get any complaints from the new ones.
Sure.
It's like, they might think, why is my front yard so dark? I've got a street light. It's amazing. Just sidewalk and then nothing on the front lawn. But then on this side of the street, it's their garage door is
A
lit
little
up.
flooded.
By the time you got up to the bedroom on the second stories, not so much. So maybe they're okay. Some on the corners are really good, Second and Elm. There's one on the corner, an older one. And it doesn't really hit the house that's where it is, but across the street, again, whether they mind or maybe they miss it. So I don't think you're gonna, thinking that's gonna cost $48,000, I think is really not a problem.
Sure. I just think we have to look at the worst case scenario. If we had to replace all of them or change all of them rather. And what that would do to our budget.
Well, that's how it was presented to us initially,
Initially, it was presented that we would be changing every last street lamp in the city.
within a 30-day timeframe.
That's not the reading that I read in the ordinance, that it was, it's not clear whether all the street lamps are by trespassing. Even, I mean, a lot of them aren't, to me, but who's it gonna be up to?
Right.
Who makes that
I
determination?
think the landowner would be a good one to ask to have that request.
Does it kind of spell out like who could be the complainant, like, so like, what if one person goes around and says?
What I don't recall is, I don't recall seeing anywhere where it was specifically said it was complaint driven.
That's true.
And that's what I think either needs to be added or subtracted or to get that part clear. Because like you said, you could have somebody that just doesn't like street lamps. That complains about every last one and then it's 48 grand. And
Maybe they would have to have some standing, maybe we should have that in
sure,
the ordinance, that
but I think that's the little gap that we're missing, is just how to tighten all those loose ends.
standing mean that the lights in
More
their yard.
clearly
It's
defined.
not,
Yeah.
it's not across town.
Yeah.
Great, so if that's in the notes and Walt can see this discussion written out to address the problems we just saw, or is that something that will happen?
Yeah, I can communicate to Walt the changes that we need to make. I just need to make sure I've got them all. So I've got have standing to complain, complaint driven, and then perhaps have the complainant pay for the shield. Is that something you want in the language?
It seems to be the common way. In fact, the city of Silverton has in their lighting ordinance, that if you have a problem with your street lamp, it literally takes the same webpage, the same photograph, everything that PGE has on theirs. This is how you solve your street lamp problem. It's call this number, and a very nice person answers the phone, honestly. At PGE, there was
Wow.
great helpful, and they'll send somebody out right away to fix your shield.
Is there anything that, like, what makes it your street lamp,
If that street lamp affects your house
your
and
property?
it's upsetting to you in any way, then it's
So
yours to
not like
complain
a-
about.
If it's bothering you while you're driving, walking.
Correct. Yep, I think that it has to be your house, although I did not honestly think of that and check into that, so.
Your property.
I think it's
Yeah.
just to report, like if a street light's out or if there's something wrong with it, they have an 800 number they report it.
Yeah. And I think that's the same number that you order your shield from.
I actually went through this in Carlton, my corner lot. There's a street light that isn't in front of my house, it's actually on a different street. But it lit up my backyard and my bedroom like a Walmart parking lot.
Right.
I could read, and I have a pool back there. And it was fine with the previous light, but when they changed it to the LED, it was ridiculous. It was so bright, it was so bright. And I went round and around and around trying to get it figured out. In fact, a PG worker was there one day and actually went and disconnected the whole street light because I couldn't get it solved. And he actually just like, I'll just unplug it. It'll take a while, somebody will complain, and it'll get plugged back in. And unfortunately, it was great for a while, and then somebody plugged it back in. So I was like, no. So anyway, I actually ended up going through Carlton and there was nothing in the process with PG at that time to get the shield put in.
Okay,
So I went through Carlton and they went ahead and had the shield put in and it didn't solve the problem, but it made it definitely. You know, it's still really, right, but it's not as bad as it was, because the angle with the hillside and how it was just, it was unbearable. It was barely in the street, it's all in my yard. I'm like, I don't need this, and my bedroom. So anyway, at that time, there was nothing in place, and it took me a very long time to get it solved, and I was really, really, really frustrated. I was like, who's got a BB gun? You know, and you can't shoot those out anymore, so that wasn't. So, not that I tried, but anyway.
So
So
this is,
little anecdote.
this is really interesting because even after the shield was put in, she wasn't satisfied. There was
Right.
probably still like trespass.
It is.
Maybe we want something in the ordinance that if the shield doesn't cut it, what's your remedy?
so
If we have nothing, if it's just like between you and PGE, our people aren't gonna be able to be satisfied, get the light trespass off their land.
So there's the standard shield that's available. And the PGE, when I was speaking to them, there are instances where they have custom shields that are designed and made for your application. Now, I assume that's on the homeowner, whether they put two shields together, if they have a selection of different shields, maybe that would cost a bit more. That I couldn't speak to. But there were alternatives to that. She had brought up a situation that sounded not unlike what you spoke to.
Well, I would like to get direction, if the city council could talk about it before they refer it back as to who's gonna pay for it, so that we don't guess. We kind of like, hey, they want this, okay. And you get it back ready to go, rather than now we don't know what to do, so that you will pass it next time. Okay?
Yeah. And I think that's what we can square away with. Shelley can make that happen with Walt, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I can, as long
Or
as.
I can speak.
No,
on it, too.
I can definitely do that. I just need to know what you guys decide on that. So did we cover all the things, or do you think there's potentially more? that you
I think
guys
there's a
take
few
time-
more things, so
Okay.
like-
Yeah, so we can talk.
like lights at parks and then security lights, if that's complaint driven and when they would, that kind of thing.
So are you gonna share kind of a list of items that we need to address with Shelley?
I think
Is that what
that
you're
I
gonna
would
do?
like to do that and then email council.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then we can make the call out to, well, council and planning.
I'm sorry.
And then what we can do after Walt gets back to us is we can all make sure that that's sort of, nobody has any more concerns or,
Yeah, I would just say maybe if everybody wants to read it and just make sure you don't have any additional comments, and then just email me. I will compile the list and make sure we have answers to the questions, and we'll get those to Walt, so then Walt knows how to change it and get it to planning commission.
And we're meeting Monday, so that's not gonna happen. You will have the luxury of another council meeting before the meeting in which we would be able to address it. Did I say that? Do you agree with what I said?
Yes, I believe that in January, the last act of this council will be approving the minutes, and then the new council will take over. So it'll be the next council that will have to approve it.
Okay, well, we meet tomorrow. Excuse me, Monday.
It's like we do.
We meet Monday, so if you, all that can happen and we
Could
have
we do it
clear
by-
direction.
Where I could give Walt direction on Friday by
Yeah.
Friday?
I think we could.
Now, why can't you guys just redline what we have and write what you want? I mean, the power is here. We're.
That's what I think, that's from what I understand, that's what we can do.
You can.
Yeah.
I was just gonna compile it for Walt.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know what you did. But I wanted to interject about the shielding, that it's not $48,000, whatever it was. And that it's complaint driven. And so I think it's a political budgetary decision on whether you want to pay $150 per citizen or not. That's up to you.
Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll make sure that we try to get it done by.
It'll be tomorrow, and so I can compile it for Walt by Friday, so we can get it done for them by Monday.
Yeah, okay.
Jay,
We can try.
in regards to the homeowner paying for it, and I'm gonna use me for an example. Somewhere along the line, right up here, the next block, they changed a light. That light now shines directly into my kitchen, and I see it in my dining room, and I see it in the morning when I get up, I see it at night. Anytime I'm in the kitchen, that light is shining. It's right at eye level to me when it shines over, and we're talking 2 blocks away, 3 blocks.
Oh,
Yeah, they've changed the light in it somehow, because up until just a couple months ago, because I think I brought it up at the planning commission meeting in regards to the lighting. So making a homeowner, me, pay for a light that's 3 blocks away, I would not be a happy camper. Because it's the light, it's, somebody changed the light and I don't know when.
Which actually brings up a good point, because we were talking about, the homeowner would have to be the complaint person. And if, in this case over here, in this case here, that's not the case.
But it would
It wasn't the
be
home-
if it's affecting their
Residents.
property. or
right,
their-
if
yeah.
the light trespass, even if it was 2 blocks away.
Or in somebody else's property.
Now, the other thing is that when I spoke to the PGE about it, they did send along with the list of all of our lights. They gave the wattage, the bulb size and the lumens of each bulb. So it could be when they made the change that they increased that,
Well,
and
it's,
then that would be something that they could put back if
it's
they.
almost like the light is, instead of down, is like this.
Well, and that could be too, and maybe that's just a malfunctioned light, and then that's, nobody pays for that, PGE pays for that.
That's how mine was.
Really?
Yeah, it
So what if it's
angled
just a problem?
down instead of.
Yeah, well, this.
Yeah, that's what we did, tell
Yeah.
them.
It's
to
a focus on
Now
lighting.
meeting.
Right out
It's-
there.
yeah.
So maybe we just need to make note of this and it'll be on a case by case basis,
Mhm.
correct? But we need to move on because we're
Yeah.
spending a lot of time on
Yeah.
this.
One thing, you're concerned about cost and what this is gonna, how you're gonna impact. Did you see the pictures that I took around town? Did they, council overseen them? No, okay. The school has some lights on the side, go straight out. They hit the yellow house across the street, the Victorian, real hard. I mean, I'm standing there, the light's behind me, my shadow goes up and onto the house from the light and the school. Patty gets hit with 2 or 3 of them from the backyard of the school. So that light is going off the campus a lot. It just doesn't bother her, so you won't hear from her. So anyway, so, and the same is true of the lights on the bathrooms in the park. If there are houses across the street, you're getting hit with them pretty hard. So those are the concerns about what's
Okay.
gonna take.
Points
Thank you,
noted.
Ben.
Have the finest light maintenance and everything.
We are.
Once this is
I'll play
over.
the story.
Okay, new business, Yamhill Carlton School Superintendent, please join us.
I'm Clint Raver, I'm superintendent of Yadkin Carlton School District. This is my 4th year as superintendent, 6th year in the district. I was the high school principal for 2 years prior to that. I got the pleasure of coming in the COVID year. That was really great. Tonight I've got Lucas with me. Lucas, come on up, Lucas. Lucas is one of our students and one of our ASB officers. I'm gonna let Lucas kind of talk first. Well, let me give you some context. So the context of this, why I'm here tonight is, for a while now, I've wanted to build stronger connections between the school district and our city governments, municipalities, and the community as a whole. So last month I presented to Carlton City Council with another one of our students and just gave an update on what's happening around the school district. And so I'm gonna have Lucas kind of talk about what's happening at the high school and some of the events that are taking place, and then I'll dive in a little bit on what we're doing around the school district.
Hi there, I am the ASB treasurer. I'm a junior. Yeah, so this year we've had it's been super busy for the school so far. We're actually midway through a Spirit Week, so we have the kids dress up in something silly. Like the first day was chaotic Christmas and you just wear just something funny. I'm wearing white today because it's snow day, so just kind of being something fun. We've got a fun assembly planned. Leadership has a fun assembly planned on Friday. We're trying to really step up our game in terms of making sure that the entire student body is participating in our events. We just went to a conference on last Friday that was about how to build your student body or get your student body to be more active in your activities like assemblies, Spirit Weeks, and just everything that we do. So we're doing a lot of stuff at our assemblies. We're also kind of preparing for the end of the year. Break's coming up, woohoo, in a week or two, so that's gonna be fun. We're also planning some events already starting to plan some events for the spring. Canned food drive, we did a big canned food drive for YCAP that's gonna be over on Friday. Hopefully my class wins. Yeah, that's kind of it. Thank you.
Prize if you win.
Root beer float party, so
Oh,
we're gonna sneak in from.
that's motivating.
Oh, yeah, we should have.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, nicely done.
Help you though, like, what can we do to help you guys out? You can you can get back to me later, sorry.
We're gonna take a break.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Can we put a barrel at the city for a canned food drive? Is that
Oh, that would-
something that?
That would be awesome. That would be something that I could talk to. I actually just scheduled something that I'm part of the outreach committee at our school as well. And we just scheduled a day that we're gonna go and help YCAP in McMinnville. And we're gonna go put stuff put like boxes together to feed families and stuff.
Nice.
So we're getting more connected with like YCAP and everything. So that would be something, yeah.
When does your food drive end?
It ends on Friday.
Okay, well, we can do it for future stuff.
Yeah, we'd be happy to.
Excellent. Good deal.
One of the
Thank you.
things that we've really pushed to change, one of the things that, can I keep one? One of the things that I've really tried to push with our leadership just through the years is that we become less about just being event planners in the building and really delve into servant leadership and how we can serve our greater community and those within our building. So it's really exciting to hear that our leadership is participating in things like food drives for YCAP and going out and doing service projects. I'm really pleased that that's the direction that our leadership class is taking. Mr. Opitz does a great job. Were you short?
Oh, that's for you, never mind.
You can have it when I leave. I just wanted for reference. I just had a few things I wanted to share with you. So this first little poster here, that's our mission, vision, and values. We spent close to a school year with the school board and community members and staff members coming up with, this is what we stand for as a school district. And so I just wanted to share that with you. This is what drives our work, kind of like what we talked about with our mission for our economic development here in Yamhill. It's the same thing for us, is that this is what drives our work. And every teacher has this poster hanging in their classroom, and there's giant size posters in our hallways. And we talk about this, there's a giant one of these posters that's behind our tables for our school board when we have our school board meetings, and it's really what drives our work. So that is something that we're proud of to be able to share, and helps kind of be our guidepost. The other thing that I have for you is our strategic plan. So we're about halfway through our 5-year strategic plan. We put this together again. This was a long process involving school board members, staff members, community members, parents, school administration, and we went through and we narrowed down what are the things that we really want to accomplish as a school district in the next 5 years. And so we've got some pillars that we are really priorities for us. We call them our priorities. And so one is around social emotional learning. We coming out of COVID, especially, kids are not the same as they were before. And who would have thought that you put kids online, isolate them for 12 months, that wouldn't somehow affect them, and it turns out it does. And so we're dealing with a lot of things that we've struggled with kids coming out of COVID, that we're really having huge impacts on. Our attendance rates are up, our 9th grade on track rates are up. We're excited about the progress we're making, but there's still work to do. So that is definitely one of our priorities, is making sure that our kids are regulated, and when they're regulated, then they can learn. Next one is climate and culture. So those are, again, another one of our pillars, is that, if kids are excited about coming to school, if they know that people care for them, if we have developed a great climate and culture in our buildings, then they're going to want to be there and they're going to be more successful. Part of that also is community outreach. And so one of the things that you had said, what can we do to help? Well, one of our goals is we want to improve attendance at our activities. We want to improve attendance in our community events that take place throughout the year. We're trying to do a better job of communication and getting out into our communities about the activities that are happening in our schools. So if you have a time, a night that you can come and support any of our sports teams, the plays that we have, participate in any of the things like canned food drives or soccer.
Soccer.
Lucas,
Great new
soccer.
stadium.
Yep.
New seating.
Yeah. So those are ways that you can support us as well. There are volunteer opportunities to support us in our schools as well. And in the high school in particular, we have a program called the Aspire program where we connect with adults, with students to help them plan their post-secondary kind of where they want to go after high school. And so we bring in adult mentors that have some experience in either the world of work or academia and can sit down with them and help navigate them through that process. So if anybody's involved, interested in being involved as Aspire mentor, that's another way that you can get back. But you can see, I'm not going to read all of these, but you can see our goals that we've outlined around climate and culture. Our next pillar is priority is 4-year graduation rate. So what I always say is it's every student, every grade level on track. So we talk a lot about 9th grade on track and our seniors on track, but really I want to know that every student, as they move through our school system, they're on track to graduate. Now, a 5th grader doesn't earn credits, but the skills that they're building in 5th grade, the skills they're building in 7th grade will lead them to graduation. So we want to make sure that our students are on track all through the course of their time in our district. And the last thing is facilities. And I'll go a little bit more into facilities in the next document, but really making sure that we have facilities that are safe, that are kept up, that meet the needs of our students. So that's a goal of ours as well. So with that, one of the things that we've done over the last couple of years is we've had a long-range facilities planning committee that has met to look at some of the challenges that we have in our district and prioritize the things that we need to do to, one, maintain what we have and also look to the future on what our needs might be in the future. So we actually last week just had our last meeting for this year's long-range facilities planning committee to kind of look at the priorities. And it's everything from looking at the flooring in the high school that's carpet like this, that's probably 50 years old, maybe not quite 50 years old, but you know that it's something that needs to be replaced. And it's looking at roofs, it's looking at siding, it's looking at lighting, and just kind of prioritizing what are our needs now, what are our needs in the short term, and then in the long term, what are our needs going to be for our facilities. So this is just a facilities report to talk about some of the things that we've done around our district over the last year to 18 months. And so a big priority has been put on safety. So some of the things that we've done is some security fencing around the intermediate school, some fencing at the elementary school, improved lighting. We have improved the camera system at all of our buildings. So our old system, very, very old. It was tethered to a computer in a building to be able to look at the camera system. We have really old, outdated cameras. We have improved that system. It's a cloud-based system now. We've upgraded the camera system. We've added about double roughly of what we previously had. And it's made it much easier for us to monitor the campus in case something were to happen. And it also helps our first responders. If we're ever in a situation where we do need some assistance, they're able to access the cameras remotely as well, which reduces that response time for that. We've upgraded our key fob system or added key fob systems around our building. We're about done. The elementary school, we're hoping to have done by the end of winter break, but rekeying the whole district. We had this is the WADA keys that I currently have to carry around. That's not even every key in the district. That's just the ones that I use most often. We're gonna be at to the point where I'm gonna have one key for the whole district, and then staff members will have a couple of keys. What that does as well around safety is if we were to have an event where law enforcement, first responders had to come out and they need to clear a building, I can't just hand them a wad of keys like this and say, yeah, check every door, because they have no idea what these keys go to. So they will have a master key to our building. So it is, if they need to come in and clear a building or do a building check at night, maybe for some activity, they're gonna have access to a key that will get them in every door, and it doesn't require a second person to put themselves in potential danger to go through. As well as a convenience, I probably have less back pain after I get rid of this. But that's, and we're really conscious about in the district about being fiscally responsible with our dollars. And so what we did, instead of hiring a contractor to go out and do the rekeying of the building, we're doing it internally. We had staff member trained. We bought the equipment that was needed and saved us about $20,000 as opposed to having a contractor do it for our guys to be able to do it. Let's see, what else have we done? Oh, intercom systems. So we had really outdated intercom systems. Intercom systems that have been there longer than maybe some of us have been alive, maybe. You know, the old switchboard systems for the intercom. So we upgraded the intercom systems in every one of our buildings. So now we've increased the reach of the intercoms. We've upgraded the speakers. So now if there's a call made, whether it's just an announcement about lunch or it's an announcement because there's some kind of emergency, we have broader reach now in the campus than we did before. So those are some of the safety upgrades that we've done. There's just a whole list of some other things, maintenance things that we've done. I won't bore you with the list, but I'll have this for you so you can kind of see what we're doing. But we're really working hard and just to give you some context, I think in the 6 years that I've been here, we are on facilities manager number 4 or 5, which included me for a 3-month period when we were in between. That was some experience. So we have a new facilities manager that started with us last year, and he is fantastic, really conscientious, a real go-getter. And so a lot of this, there's been a lot of deferred maintenance throughout the year, just things not getting done, it's fallen through the cracks. And Ian has been fantastic, and that's one of our goals together is that we want to get these buildings, you know, to support learning for our students, so. And then there was the mention of the stadium project. I just want to give a shout out to our community and our booster club because they took the lead on funding that stadium renovation to, it really was a mess. It was completely dry rotted underneath, and they came in and the community stepped up, and that stadium will last us another 20, 30, 40 years. So. Okay, any questions for me?
No, that was a lot.
It was a lot. I tried to do it fast.
Looking forward to reading through it though.
I'm
Well,
curious,
yeah.
if you don't mind, what's your on track for the 4 years for graduation? Where are you guys now? And obviously your goal is 100%, but I mean, where are you guys?
Yeah, so our, gosh, you would put me on the spot, Shelley. So our latest, we're consistently over 90%. I think, and we track it, we actually track it in real time. We've got a new system, what's called Oregon Data Suite. And there have been times with our freshman class this year that we're 100% on track, but we're typically in the 95% range for freshmen on track, which is way above the state average. Yeah.
How long are you, or how far into this? I mean, when did you guys start this, basically, this system for tracking?
So Oregon Data Suite is new this year. It's just a better tool for us to be able to target kids individually in real time. It ties into our student information system. So anything that goes in there, like grades, attendance, behavior, referrals, any of that information goes into that system. We have reports that we can pull in real time that tell us where all the kids are at. Yeah.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Well, you know where to find me if you have any questions. You can help.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, both of you.
Police fiscal sponsorship services agreement.
Okay, so this is kind of exciting, actually. This should be in your packet, a copy of the agreement, a copy of the list. So Chief Graven, and I were approached, well, he was approached, and I was not able to attend the meeting, but, we were approached by, Brad Windecker from the Windecker Foundation, with a desire to donate funds to the police department to purchase necessary supplies. And so basically it had to come through their foundation, and the city wasn't, capable of receiving the funds. So we were able to create a fiscal sponsorship service agreement to collect the funds through a nonprofit, which is the Yamhill Community Club. They received the funds and then they are sponsoring and submitted the funds to us. So essentially it allowed us to receive the donation. Chief Graven created a list of, had previously created a list of items that we needed funding for the police department that we weren't able to fund. And the foundation funded it in entirety with the exception of the last item on the list because that actually was not on the original list. So a $60,000 check was received. And we have a resolution in front of you tonight to allow the city to receive those funds and expend those funds in the police miscellaneous income in general fund, because this fund was not originally in there.
Fantastic.
This amount was not repayment. So, the items that would be funded would be body armor with carriers, FBI style shields, 6 AEDs, 2 single shot 40mm pepper ball systems, 2 pros laser, 3 LiDAR, security cameras for the city hall / police department, and a drone system. The 4 wrap safety restraints on the bottom are not a part of this. And the resolution service agreement, not the resolution, the service agreement specifically identifies that these funds will be spent only on these items, nowhere else. And yeah, so pretty much, need your vote on the resolution as to whether or not you would us to be able to receive these funds and use them for these purposes.
Absolutely. How do you say no to funds?
Right?
Right.
Do you know anything about, I'm just curious about the drone,
About what?
the drone?
The $10,000 drone?
Yeah, I'm just
Exciting.
curious like how it's different from like, obviously, I'm sure it's probably like encrypted and all that
Unfortunately,
stuff,
that would be
but-
a question for Chief Craven. I know nothing about his supply list.
I do know that they used one not recently.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of times when it would be helpful and stuff. I was just curious to like
Clearing
hear all the
buildings and
cool
clearing
things that you could do or
areas.
looking for suspects or
Exactly.
Yeah.
People hiding.
even like for good, probably, like looking for lost dogs or something.
Lost children, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
exciting. I don't have any questions. I'm. And council?
I'm good.
No?
Please, we'll take the money.
Please, please. So then can I get a motion for resolution 834A?
I move to approve resolution R 834A, resolution for supplemental budget and police miscellaneous income.
Ask you second.
Vote please.
That's what I was gonna say, and I.
Ask you,
Courtney, aye.
Potter, aye. That goes into the general fund with the.
It goes into, yes, the police miscellaneous income in general fund and then expended through police miscellaneous expense in the general fund.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, next one. Resolution R 831 endorsing YDA's local affiliation with Oregon Main Street Network.
Yes, so this is a resolution before council to support the Yamhill Downtown Association's application to become an affiliate with the Oregon Main Street Network. Jenny from YDA is here to explain a little bit more about it, but this resolution in essence is just the city council showing its support of their submission. And that by them being an affiliate of the Oregon Main Street Network would allow them additional opportunities for funding and resources to bring more economic vitality to our community.
This is something they've been working on for 3-4 years now,
Yeah.
participating in this, going to conferences and learning about this program. They've put a lot of effort into getting this as part of something for the city of Yamhill. So and it can open up a lot of doors for funding for them. So is there, I'm sure, I'm assuming everybody read it. Any questions on it?
No, I just think it's fantastic. I don't know if it was council or if it was when I was on planning, but we met with Oregon Main Street Network. Then they were just fantastic.
Mhm.
And the things that they can do and the work you guys put in to be a part of that is tremendous.
I can give a little more, like losing my voice, if you want a little more
Please.
background too, for the record. Yeah, we first appreciate the opportunity to have the support. And so we've been called a connected community. And so it's kind of, have basic benefits of this, this organization, but by moving up, we're ready to move up into the affiliated level, which requires an application and some different documentation. And part of that is this resolution to show that you have support of your city council. But the Oregon Main Street, it's an affiliate of, Main Street America. And then it ties into the local program. So like the Yamhill Downtown Association, and also there's some crossover with the efforts, like with the Economic Development Committee. It's all kind of, interrelated. And the Main Street is a comprehensive approach to economic development, based on small communities, so it's place-based. And it's adaptable to the unique characteristics of your local community. And they've got kind of their main focal points or efforts are around economic vitality, for new investment, or encouraging local like entrepreneurships or business. Design for historic character, recognizing historic places or public spaces as well. Organizational support, so community engagement, partnerships across the sectors, and promotion, so marketing, like larger networking potential. And so the whole goal is to kind of work with them, use their tools, their support to have this community transformation. So yeah, we dabbled in it, and now we're at the point now where we're at the level where we can apply. And the benefits then, as Shay and Mayor Potter were talking about, you've got technical assistance, you've got workshops, revitalization grant, support to create a lasting impact for the historic downtown. And then as far as to be qualified, so now some things as far as this, you have to have an independent nonprofit. And so the YDA is a nonprofit, build a sustainable organizational structure based on this approach. And so it's kind of a 3-year lead up for the next step, an active board, which we do have, and then demonstrate a historic preservation ethic. So we meet the criteria. The application is due next month, but again, the first step is to get to ask that the resolution be approved. So that's the information. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion?
I think it's great.
Can I get a motion then, please?
I move to approve resolution 831 endorsing YDA's local affiliation with Oregon Main Street Network.
Askey second.
And a vote.
Kenda, I.
Askey, aye.
Oregon, aye.
Potter, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is exciting. I'm glad there's something we can do to support you. All right. Resolution R 832.
So this is a resolution before council tonight to move, to transfer $75,000 within the water fund from one line item, tie line feasibility. And you should all have a sample page of the budget in front of you to look at. Tie line feasibility 20-440 to Moores East Second Street 20-6984 in the 24-25 budget. And this would move it to basically the East Moores and East Second Street is part of that Third and East Second Street project, and it would allow us to complete both of those items. Because it's been identified that 75,000, which was the tie line feasibility, is going to be funded through the Merkley money, which we did apply for today. I think I mentioned that already. So that money is then accessible for this project. And Jason can explain a little bit more about the project itself, but that's the movement of the funds is what this resolution is asking council to approve.
Yeah, so we identified this project back at the beginning of the fiscal year. This project is allowing us to connect from Highway 47 all the way to Morris Valley with new distribution line, upgrade from a 6-inch to an 8-inch line, all new services, all new meters will be installed. There'll be patchback work, paving involved. But once this resolution is finalized, I did some rough math. In 2 years' time, we have put in 2,910 linear feet of distribution line in 2 years, if this project falls through. I think that's pretty substantial to think about. I mean, to where we were, back in 2020 when I took over. So it's pretty massive. I just thought I'd throw that fact out, but, yeah, this money would help support completing these two CIP projects, which council can see in front of them, which is 5B and 5C.
You're doing a good job, Jason.
And the project is identified in the city's water master plan and has been on the city's CIP since 2018. And the water rates and SDCs were established based on these lines being replaced. So this would allow that to.
Same fund, we're just moving from one to another, same fund. Okay, any questions from council?
Is there any possibility that Berkeley one might fall through?
We were worried that might be the case, but because we actually are in the system now effective today, we have been assured that that money is earmarked and set aside for us.
And that's why the 75 was being held,
Yeah,
was in case that did
Just
happen.
in case, yeah.
okay.
For that effective 4 o'clock today.
Phew. All right, resolution R 832. Can I get a motion, please?
I move to approve resolution R 832 to transfer funds from the tie-in feasibility to Moores and East Second.
Has to be second.
And a vote.
And I.
SKI.
Corrigan, aye.
Potter, aye.
Thank you.
Oh, do you have this?
Yeah.
Can you read these for me? Because it includes some additional.
This is the 32.
Maps.
Well, we just did the 832. But this is, what we have on here, I don't think is enough. This would be great for the records. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We got instead of this.
Oh, when am I doing that?
Exactly.
I see, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, R 833, which is essentially a very, very similar thing, same amount of money.
This is a resolution to transfer 75,000 within the water fund from the reservoir to plant tie-in feasibility study 20-4411 and create a line item to the Hemlock Street water improvement project in the same amount. So again, the 75,000 for the reservoir to plant that will be funded through the Merkley funds, moving that to create a new line item to fund an emergency project on Hemlock Street that Jason could speak to.
Yeah, this one is deemed an emergency. This is 275 linear feet of distribution line that we currently have 3 mechanical components holding that infrastructure together, which is a Romac clamp. We have full hairline fractures in that ductile iron pipe. This allows us to get 1/3 of the Hemlock project done on our capital improvements for more than a fair price. There again, by putting in new infrastructure, putting in water and distribution line, we're just being more proactive than reactive in this case. And yeah, it's a win-win because it's a capital project and it's a win because it needs the repairs deemed emergencies. So. Any questions on that one?
Thank you for being proactive.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
That is encouraging. Any questions from council? Any concerns? Understand clearly? Can I get a motion then?
I move to approve resolution R 833, a resolution to transfer $75,000 within the water fund from the reservoir to plant tie-in feasibility study 20-4411 and create a line item to the Hemlock Street water improvement projects in the same amount.
Excellent.
Ken, second.
Can I get a vote, please?
Ken, I.
Corrigan,
Potter, aye. Oh, funny. All right, department reports. City administrators report. Yay. I look forward to these.
apologize. I was dealing with other technical issues before the meeting, so I didn't have this one set up to go. This is why it took so long for me to get.
Okay, so the city administrator's report for December. This is noteworthy events from November. There it is, okay. For November, we're gonna start with police as always. Chief Graven dealt with a medical death investigation on East Fourth Street. He worked to coordinate training with DHS and Yamhill Carlton School District. He investigated an intoxicated adult at the, on the Yamhill Carlton School property. And attended training on investigating aquatic deaths and crimes against children. And oversaw installing the security camera at Maple and Main. Among many of the other things that he does, those are some of the highlights of things he did in November. Corporal Van Cleve installed security cameras at the watershed, assisted with a suicidal / crash DUI, made several warrant arrests and assault and medical calls last month. Located a runaway and attended a small agency conference in Sun River for some police training. And our school resource officer Livingston assisted City of Carlton on a DUI marijuana, assisted the sheriff's office on a drone search for a suspect in Grand Ronde. Did some traffic patrol and continued his work at the Yamhill Carlton High School. And these are the police statistics for November. The number of calls and activities were 273. Number of case reports, 25. Number of arrests, 14. Number of court citations, 45. No warnings, 7 circuit court citations, 47 calls for service, and 180 initiated contacts. And the hours worked by each officer and the miles driven last month. In Public Works, they weatherized the water treatment plant, applied the intake screen to keep the debris out, adjusted the chemicals in the water plant, met with McMinnville Water and Light, which Jason reported on, and the intake at the water plant remains at 400 and distribution is average of 130 gallons per minute. Water distribution, we're preparing for construction at West Third and Olive Street project, estimated to begin in early January. And then worked on basic operations and maintenance of all the water lines. And in wastewater, they worked with Xylem to fix a pump issue, blew out all the screens in the lagoons, kept daily readings of the lagoons, CCTV the collection lines off Hemlock and Second, and backed 2 manholes. And in streets, this is a picture of the portion of West First Street and Olive that they just finished. And they also paved a section of First Street between Elm and Cedar and a section of Tiger Lane off Highway 47. And parks, they continue to just do basic operations and maintenance right now. Inside City Hall, the accounting clerk prepared for the annual audit, which the auditors were here yesterday and today, and that's completed now. And she also worked to reconcile the ARPA funds for the deadline approaching, which we discussed earlier tonight. City recorder updated the minutes format for easier reading and also created a new web page, or is working to create a new web page to ensure compliance. We attended some pre-lighting planning meetings last month. And the next screen is a picture of just a sample of the type of information that will be on the city recorder webpage when she's got that up and running. So there'll be a lot of good information on that. In planning, the RFP for the Parks Master Plan was posted to the website and closed December 6th. We are now reviewing. We received 3 RFPs. One was from a company in California, 2 in Oregon, and we'll be reviewing those this week with a review of our scores next week and hopefully selecting December 20th-ish. The Planning Commission updated the lighting ordinance for the council's concerns. As we know, there will be some more updates to that and we'll report more next month. And then as Ken reported, we're wrapping up the work on Title 11 for their review in December, so next Monday. We held our public meeting on November 21st for the grant. So we had great attendance at that and a lot of good feedback. Our next Citizen Advisory Committee meeting for that will be January 22nd. And FEMA was notified of council's floodplain decision to choose to look at the decisions on a case-by-case basis for now. And the applications will be updated with the disclaimer language provided by our legal counsel so that the city's not liable for anything that affects the floodplain. How it should be. And then the 2 public hearings that Ken mentioned on the gas stations were postponed until December. And they amended the application to place only 1 EMC sign along Maple Street. And for those that don't know, because I didn't, an EMC sign is electronic message center sign. And back to Public Works, I just want to report to, because of public comments, the ODOT meeting that happened was reported at last month's meeting. So we did report on that last month. Just an update on what took place, but I'd be happy to talk with you offline after that. So, City Council, the City Council this month, in November, we worked with them on the Citizen Advisory Committee meeting. They attended that, and then also some councilors attended that, and then the public meeting as well. I believe Councilor Corrigan and Kind and Askey attended the Lafayette County dinner with me, and then the mayor and I met with a local citizen to discuss some ways they can help the city. And then we attended the all hands meeting with Mayor Potter, and I believe almost all of them, well, a couple of you were here at the tree lighting, right? Not everybody was able to make that. One of the things City Council was involved in with us last month. Although that tree lighting was December, so that's not November, so I jumped ahead there. Community engagement, again, the Lafayette City County dinner attendance, that was a great turnout by a lot of the community in Yamhill County. And then the regional administrators meeting, I attended monthly, attended that last month, and also had meetings with the city of Newburgh, city of Kaiser, and ODOT. And then the Yamhill Carlton all hands meeting was last month. And the Mac Water and Light meeting, and then again, the public meeting and the DLC grant updates for community engagement last month. Upcoming events, December 17th to 21st. This isn't a city event, but the Longview annual gingerbread contest is happening December 17th to the 21st, and the gingerbread houses will be dropped off December 17th here. And then YDA will pick them up and display them at a location TBD. Has it been determined? Is
Yeah, at the Sapphire Building, the new owners.
that the
Next
boba
to-
tea?
Yeah, next to that, yeah, so in the front
They'll
window,
be displayed there for judging by the community,
yes.
right? But the drop off is here December 17th,
Yeah.
so everybody knows that. December 24th and 25th, City Hall will be closed for Christmas. December 24th is half day, closing half day, and then 25th all day. And then December 31st, same thing, half day, closed all day, January 1st. And then January 22nd is that 3rd citizen advisory meeting for the grants, and that was going to be our final meeting, but because we didn't get through everything at our second meeting, we'll have a 4th meeting that has yet to be scheduled. So, and then that will be the final citizen meeting, and then final recommendations will be made, and that will come to council, and there will be an opportunity for the public to comment at that time again. I think that's it.
Good job.
Excellent, okay, that's a lot.
Yes, sir.
Where is, there's, you mentioned a street called Tiger.
I don't know.
Where's that?
It's That's how I best describe this. Highway 47, it's its own lane. It's where they occupied all the buses. In between the high school and residential.
Oh, okay. I think.
It's on
Oh,
campus,
Tiger
right?
Lake.
It's on,
Twice.
yeah, it's
I get it.
Little alleyway.
a little
Yeah,
alleyway.
it is.
I mean,
Okay. And then I was also going to ask for the park master plan. What's a typical timeline look like for like getting that finished?
The
A park-
review of it or
Yeah,
the whole?
like, the whole thing, basically.
I'm not sure. I think, I'd have to look at the actual
Yeah,
proposals,
Okay.
but I think it's about a year, could be a little less.
okay.
But I can
Cool.
report back to you on that.
Yeah, it's not urgent.
Okay.
Curious.
No, I'll have more information once I
Sure.
review them all.
And police department statistics and reports were all included in that. And we also got hard copies of them in our
Mhm.
packet. And Public Works. Anything additional you want to share with council?
No.
Covered a lot tonight.
We did. Public Works, yeah.
Okay, council reports, I just want to, it's formal and official now, and I want to congratulate, Mayor-elect Shay Corrigan and Counselor-re-elect Tim Askey, and a new counselor, Chris Featherston, will be a new counselor, so she's a counselor-elect at this time. And there will be a swearing in January at the city council meeting to start a new council. Very exciting.
Moving on.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
both of you. And a special thank you to all who contributed to the City of Yamhill Christmas tree lighting, the Yamhill Downtown Association for the decor and the planning, Brian Robbins for the Christmas tree itself, Rocky Lossley and family for the electricity for the tree, Christine Strode for those cookies, made beautiful cookies, the little red truck with the Christmas tree in the back of it. They were adorable.
We have one in there, I think, still.
Do we still?
Uh-huh.
Cool. Brad Salter, tall enough to place the tree topper.
Very important.
Very important. And the Yamhill Fire Protection District volunteers who provided candy canes and cocoa. And we just want to say thank you to the community. We had a tremendous turnout, lots of kids, lots of fun. It was a good time had by all, and I just want to thank the community for participating in our tree lighting ceremony.
Can I add one more name? Eli Johnson, who.
Oh, guitar,
Oh, Santa,
Absolutely.
he did a good job.
Yeah.
He really did a great job. That was Eli Johnson?
Yeah.
Kudos to Eli Johnson. Very nice.
Mayor, could I add something to your election comments?
Oh, please, please.
So with our new mayor-elect, that will leave a vacant seat. So we will be needing to fill that in the new year and have applications. At such time we receive the resignation of the counselor, we'll be recruiting for a new council.
An open council position. Okay, and you don't want applications just yet. We have to wait till.
We don't have
January.
them yet. We don't have the seat's not vacant and we don't have the application.
Okay, so there's no-
Process.
So in January, you will announce applications.
Yeah, and it'll be posted on the website and they can come get it at City Hall and
Perfect.
all of the things, but opportunity to spread the word right now.
So they could potentially start February.
Potentially, if the new council reviews and approves,
Potentially.
yeah.
It'd be exciting. Oh. And there was one more thing. Oh, budget committee, you are accepting applications for the budget committee right now.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Mhm.
There's 5 vacancies for the budget committee. It's beginning January 1st, 2025. Typically, Yamhill has 2 to 4 meetings per year during the months of March and April to go over the budget, advise on the budget, and make any changes or updates to the budget. Did you want to make any statements? No? Members of the Budget Committee typically serve 3-year terms. At this time, volunteers may apply for a 1, 2, or 3-year term. So anybody that's interested in the Budget Committee, they are looking for applications. I have no further announcements. Council, do you have any reports that you want to present? Okay. Additional information, the January 22nd is the next.
Citizen Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Applications, special thanks. We covered it all. May I get a motion, please, unless there's anything additional? Okay,
I move we adjourn.
we are adjourned.
You didn't get a second on it.
Okay.